Are you ready?
Hey, what's good? What's good? Yo, it's Coach Rashid, and I'm back. Oh my gosh. Today is one exciting day. Just recently, I talked about a disruptive technology called blockchain technology. But when that technology is used to disrupt one of the most incredible and useful industries on the planet, that being transportation. Yeah, I thought you thought I was going to say crypto. You thought I was going to say finance. You thought I was going to say a whole lot of things. Transportation is literally how the world moves. So, and no pun intended. But with that being said, I want to talk about this amazing program that is literally set to disrupt all kinds of ride sharing, ride hailing, robo or e-taxi. Um, Man, I mean, these guys have created something. And every time I look at it, every time I go with the white paper, every time I review their new app, they upgrade, they update. And it's just amazing to be able to speak to the people that are actually creating each part of this program. And they have done so much great work that I'm just excited to be able to get back to making this video because it's been about a week and I'm like, oh my gosh, I really need to get this update out there so people can know that this is literally the next big thing that's happening in the blockchain world and disrupting in transportation. It's just the next in the evolution of amazing industries that's being disrupted by blockchain technology. And now that AI and Web3 and literally like the agentic AI, the generative AI, we're talking about the robotics and getting into the tokenization of platforms. I mean, we understand real world assets. When we normally talk about real world assets, right? And let me do this right quick because I know you're probably saying, why am I looking at this little bitty picture? Because I was about to go ahead and kick it off, but I said let me give you a little context because I'm always excited and I want to connect with the people that's watching. Somebody that takes the time to watch my videos, to come on and actually review what I am saying and pay attention to it. Then I want to give you that respect, give you that initial connection because I appreciate it. I'm always thankful that people take the time to come on and check it out. And it is just a mind blowing thing because I have looked for something that was this disruptive. And so within the last 3 months, there's been like 3 projects that are doing it different. And this year, I think the real world assets, the tokenization of actual business models, actual physical traditional business models, we're taking them from offline to online. These are the type of things that you're going to hear me talk about and continue to talk about because they are leveling up and taking the blockchain and really bringing it to the people where you can understand it. Because if I'm standing in Dubai, if I'm standing in Qatar, if I'm standing in Doha, if I'm in Kuwait City, if I'm in Oman, Muscat, if I'm in Bahrain, if I'm in any of those locations, right, throughout the Gulf or Riyadh, Saudi, if I'm there, I know the traffic is ridiculous. I know that if you're getting in a taxi and you want to go somewhere, it's going to take 30 plus minutes, and the countries aren't that big. Why is that the case? Because everybody wants to visit these locations, and when they visit, it's just so many people, and it just backs up, backs up, backs up. But what if you had a new way, right, to set up your ride, right, to set up your vacation, to set up, if you're working in the Middle East and you had a way to set up, right, a kitty cab, like literally have a dedicated, confirmed, vetted, legal, no criminal backgrounds. I mean, all the stuff that you would want. and you were able to do your job, and you were able to, as an expat, of course, and you were able to feel good about your son or your daughter being able to get to school or get to where they need to go to during the day as well. That is what these guys are doing. Now, they're not stopping there, and you'll see it in the presentation here that they're taking it beyond that, right? So I'm coming to you, and I want you to understand this piece. This is the critical piece. You may be saying, Rashid, I'm not in the Gulf. I'm not in Saudi. I'm not in Riyadh. I'm not, in Kuwait. I'm not in Doha. I'm not in Dubai. I'm not in Ras Al Khaimah. I'm not in Abu Dhabi. Rashid, what are you saying here? Why are you excited about something that has nothing to do with the West? Well, it has everything to do with the West, but I'm going to give you some insight. I've been approached about this project, this platform, this real world program to help bring it to the masses through my platform right here, plus my other social media and in person. Because when I looked at it, when I evaluated it, I saw an investment opportunity that I did not want to miss. And when I see something like that, when I go through that information, then I'm going to reach out to all the people in my community, local and global, and say, you don't want to miss this, right? So this is why it sounds really like amazing. You're like, wow, that's great for the people that's using this service. But Rashid, what does it have to do with me? Because we're looking at it, because I'm not using the service. I'm in the US, I'm in California. So how am I going to use a service that's launching in the Gulf, right? You're like, what's the deal here? What's the connection? Because there's two things that's happening. If we in the West, right, if we can grow this as a community, then they already have a license to work and operate in Texas. I'm from Texas, so I'm like, oh, that's perfect, right? I talked to the CEO the other day, and he says, okay, do we need to come to the U.S. and really talk to people about this project? We're looking for investors, and we're looking for people that believe in what we're doing. And that's pretty much, kind of how our conversation really kicked off, because I believe in what they're doing. I spent over 8 years in the Middle East, so I understand what they're doing. And that's why it is key for me to be part of this particular revolution, right? I believe in blockchain. I believe in crypto as the future of money. The ride sharing, ride hailing. This is so dynamic because it's time to take it to that next level. Uber came along and disrupted that, right? People were like, oh, wow, you know what? I don't have to jump in that yellow taxi. I don't have to jump in that black taxi. I can actually call somebody that can give me a better rate and put me in a nicer car. Oh, let's do this, right? And that happened. But then Uber and Lyft kind of started having some competition. And then in the Middle East, you got Karen, you got Yango, you got Uber. All of them start to have some competition. And now the pricing started to shift a little bit. But they know they can't operate except at a certain level, right? So Gulf L, the owners of Gulf L, they actually did the research. They've been literally in this business for the last 10 years. But they brought it to the Middle East and actually studied the Middle East, Dubai, and some of the other countries, and said, okay, this is what we need to do here. And so they're changing the game, like literally changing the game. They're bringing in blockchain technology. They're bringing in AI, right? They're bringing in AI at a level of negotiation and subscription models, and they're bringing entertainment to the ride-sharing industry. And so they're disrupting transportation, period, because eventually they're going to have a robo-taxi, autonomous vehicle, not just EVs. They're delivering the EVs as a fleet, right, into the system. And they're bringing in riders and drivers that can benefit from a loyalty program. So the benefits from the people that just ride in a taxi, they're going to benefit by the more rides you get credits in tokenization. Yes, this is where the blockchain comes in. They're going to get tokens, and those tokens are going to equate to free rides, or they can share rides, or they can win trips to other locations around the Gulf and wherever they want to go. So there's so much benefit in the project itself, in that platform. And thus, if I can talk to people, we can come on board, we can invest in this program, and guess what happens? You can 6, 10, and up to 25x. The first, maybe 6 to 12 months, you're looking at a 6x up to maybe a 10x. But anything beyond that, up to about a 25x on your investment. This is not financial advice. This is just based on what they're doing, the industry and the research that's been done, and the valuation based upon that research, this industry, and the financial capabilities. This is phenomenal for the person that sees it today, because you're going to be one of the first movers. You have the advantage. You have it before they actually launch, right? I've been talking about nodes. I've been talking about miners. We got caught. There's a crypto that came out 6 months ago. No, 8 months ago, right? It didn't really get off the ground for about 6 months. It was between 4 cents and about 8 cents, got up to maybe $1 in literally like 5 to 6 months. But at the 6 months, something happened, and that bad boy just took off. And it's over 9,000%. It has a 9x, right? 90x in about 8 months. This is September, October. So we're almost in October, right? So we are I'm already involved in a project where their particular coin is continuing to skyrocket, and they haven't even really launched the thing. Their launch is literally in February, and they're looking to be at $16 in February. From zero last November, 1 year later, it's already at a 9,000% increase. Yeah, crazy, ain't it? So this is really what's happening. People are literally leveling up when it comes to these miners, when it comes to these tokens. As long as they have the right utility and the right people running the project, this thing is phenomenal. So that's why I'm so excited about this one, because the last one, we missed Bitcoin. Didn't get Bitcoin when it was $1. Didn't get it when it was $5. Didn't get it when it was $10, right? But then somebody launches another miner, and guess what? People were getting in at 4 cents. I didn't get in. People got in at $1. I missed the boat on that. I was told about it, but I didn't get it. Then it hit about $2, and I was like, oh my gosh, this thing is moving. $3, I was like, got to get in, right? So I missed my 3Xs. I'm like, oh man. And now it's at about 5X. So just mind blowing what it's doing. Now here's an opportunity that I have again, right? And when I get contacted about this, I looked at it and I was like, I don't know. Then I looked at it again, and then the person kept asking, come on, Rashid, let's take a look at this. These guys really want to meet you. They watch your videos. They like what you're doing. Can you help us market this? And I was like, okay. So I started looking, I'm like, wait a minute. My background is in transportation, by the way. I've been doing transportation literally over 20 years, right? Different aspects of transportation. So when I saw that they were disrupting transportation, I said, let me dive in. And I started to read their white paper. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And you may be wondering why I do videos. Why am I reading a white paper? Well, yeah, the research is important. Normally I'll scan through it or something like that, right? May have some AI that does a summary or whatever and get the gist of it. I literally read everything. You know why? Because there was like 3 videos, and the videos were about 2 minutes each. So they didn't really give me what I wanted to know. And then I started doing research on the CEO and the COO, and I saw that they literally had been in the transportation business. One was engineer from doing software, blockchain, crypto. The other had worked as a VP of operations, the CEO, in England with the black taxi cabs. So with over 1,000 fleet, like for years. I'm like, oh my gosh, these guys know what they're doing. And then they spent over a year in the Middle East studying the patterns and understanding the market. And then they have they ran their MVP, right? The minimal viable product. They got the app working. They did the runs. They saw that, hey, here's what we need to update, change, create better. They made changes. They sent, a link out, because my sponsor actually has the demo of the app, Next Ride. And they were like, okay, what works, what doesn't work? These guys are serious. Like, we've seen all these things, all these parts. This is a real business looking for investment, and they're going to pay out in tokens, and the tokens will be under a stable coin, so you can obviously change those out. They already have 3 major exchanges that they're in talks with. They got confirmation on 2 and 1 coming later. Confirmation on 2. These are major joints, like major exchanges. So they're not playing around. I'm excited, and I really want key people. You see this vision, get in touch with me. I'll break it down for you. I'll walk you through it, and we can rock and roll with something that is new, something that's disrupting an industry that hasn't been disrupted with the blockchain technology, with the AI, and with the subscription model that hasn't been seen before, because there are things within their model that others aren't doing. Now, I'm going to give you a quick synopsis. I'm going to go through a quick presentation. I'm going to run some slides so you can get some visual on what I'm talking about. If I get a chance, I don't want to do too long. So if I get a chance, if I do it on this video or maybe the next video, but I'm going to talk a little bit about the comp plan so you'll understand how the investors get paid. There are 2 different types of investors. Of course, you have the accredited, and then you have the ones that's going to invest in the utility token. So there are 2 different tokens that we're looking at. And then when you understand tokenized transportation, then the tokenization effect is you're basically able to purchase tokens. You're getting fractional shares in the actual Gulf L Next Ride application, because people will be using the tokens within the app, right, to purchase, to charge the EVs, all these things. So all this is happening, and that's where you're generating your income, your return from. And then you have the accredited investors that, are going big, like 250,000 or more. Then they're going to earn about 20% returns on theirs annually, right? So there's 2 separate, avenues. So I want you to see that when I go through the presentation, but I definitely wanted to give you this insight and show you that I'm serious about this. Like, I'm not just, doing presentations and throwing them out there. I'm passionate about this, because this is an industry that I know very well. I've shipped cargo, I've shipped people worldwide through the military as well as commercially. And so I get it. I've done customs in multiple countries, and I spent over 8 years in the Middle East. So when they talk about what's going on there, me and my wife took vacations like all the time, from Dubai and Bahrain and in those areas. I've been to Saudi, I've been to Kuwait, I've been to Oman, I've been to Bahrain, I've been to, Kuwait. I was in Kuwait, and of course, I've been to Iraq as well, right? And there's other countries I've been to, but so here's the thing. I want to give you a quick video so you can kind of get the capture, the essence of what I'm talking about. And then we'll go into a quick presentation, and I'll summarize it, because I don't want to read every detail, but I'm going to summarize the overview, comp plan. We're going to talk about that, and then we're going to dive into the app, and I'm going to show you some of the technology behind it and some of the benefits and why that's so exciting. All right, so let's go ahead and let's get this video up for you. And then that's one thing about using this platform. It's a little different, that's for sure. So let me find the right window, get that up for you. And then I can go over here and make sure, okay, we got that in there. Yeah, we're good right there. And then, all right, so let's go ahead and dive in right here, see if there's something that gives you a little insight to what's going on. All right. So that gives you just a little bit of information about, that particular program, and I love how they are very concise in that video because I don't want to get into a whole lot of just chatter. And a lot of times, when we show some of these things, it just goes on and on and on. So what I want to do now is I want to pull up the actual, let me see if I can find the presentation here, right? So I want to get into the actual comp plan more so to give you that vision. So basically what you saw in that video, really short, really concise. This is the actual information in writing that complements that video. Okay. So when we talk about Gulf L, we talk about the future of transportation. We're talking vision. We're talking the strategy, and we're talking about a disruption in the transportation industry. Gulf L is a decentralized electric ride-hailing AI platform that leverages blockchain technology to create transparency, security, and cost effectiveness in the ride-hailing industry. It's operating on the GFEL token. So I want to give you that, right? I don't want to, ad lib. I want to give you exactly what these guys are doing. This is from the company, right? So they're using a GFEL token, aiming to revolutionize traditional ride-hailing by connecting riders directly with drivers, focusing on electric cars. With its Taxi 3.0 vision, Gulf L empowers both drivers and riders through zero commission fees, unique dynamic pricing, and driver customization options. So when they talk about that, this is really the meat of what's different about what they're doing. They literally have massive research on all the different, ride-hailing operations in the Gulf. And they have shown, and I have all the data. I've went through every bit of that. All that's in the white paper, and there's a couple other documents that they did, just broke down the research on each one, and they show you what each one, as far as the cost of doing business. You have the actual the pricing, right? And they show you how they can beat the pricing by at least 20%, and you see that this is what they're doing versus what everybody else is doing. And yes, there are some that are kind of premium. There's surge pricing. They basically have eliminated some of those things to where the others are doing it at these particular hours, and these guys are keeping the price the same at these time frames. They show where the drivers have advantages, that if you're going to take on being a driver with Gulf L, there's more benefits to doing that versus if you driving with some of these other companies. So they have really done the research and figured out a way to beat every aspect of this particular system, and they come out on top in every category. And they're looking to have an evaluation of about 200 million in the next 4 years. So really powerful, and that kind of gives you an idea of that 10 to 20x on your investment. This is kind of what I'm talking about. Over that time period, it can definitely grow to that. Not financial advice, but based upon the numbers, based upon how valuations are done, this is really what you're seeing here. And like they say, this platform fosters a self-sustaining ecosystem with open governance, incentivizing active participation from drivers, partners, and riders. Gulf L strives to create a community-driven network benefiting all stakeholders. So everybody, from the person that's driving, like I said, got benefits that the others don't provide. The actual riders have benefits, and the riders, like I said, a community-driven network, the riders are benefiting because the more they ride, the more benefits they get. The tokenization is in effect, and they can actually win free rides. They can get free gifts. They can get additional benefits because they are, riders. And a lot of them are, they don't ride one time, they're riding numerous times, right? So these are some of the things they're talking about. I mean, it benefits all the stakeholders, so including the investors. Additionally, Gulf L's AI features predictive algorithms, dynamic pricing, route optimization, advanced matching, demand forecasting, feedback loops, personalized recommendations, and safety features, optimizing wait times and cost to enhance the ride sharing experience. So as you can tell, in that particular, information that we just put out there, the predictive algorithms are driving, and that's what AI is so powerful. When somebody, that whatever action and behavior that AI is picking up on that, how many times you ride, where you're going, um, how long you're there, and so all this data, that information is, hey, they're gonna pop up on your phone and say, hey, do you need a ride? Because normally you're getting a ride at this time. Normally you are actually going to this location normally. So if you have a job, or if you have a place that you go literally every day or every other day, and you riding and riding and riding, and you have the subscription model with this, then guess what happens? That AI, that app is going to contact you and say, do you need a ride, before you can actually click the button to order the ride. How powerful is that, right? So these are some of the things that they talk about. And this is information that when I talk to the COO, because he works really on the marketing piece of it. So me and him really talked a lot. Then these are the things that they're doing to make this so much better than what's out there. And that's what I love about what they're doing. And they have a green model where they have the EVs, that you're going to have a whole fleet of EVs, like 200,000 EV charging stations that they're going to put out there across the Gulf. And they got EVs that they're going to have a fleet where it's all EVs. Of course, they're going to have, when they first kick off, they got about 800 cars that they're going to kick off and launch with here within the next couple of months. By November is what I'm being told. Then they're going to kick that off with 800 cars, and they're going to start incorporating more EVs as they grow. And so as they're growing across the Gulf, and then into Asia, and then into Latin America, and so on and so forth, then they're growing that EV fleet versus the fuel. It's going to be more green and clean, and that's really what they're looking for, because the platforms that they're looking at, they're designing it to be peer-to-peer, because you understand blockchain and the tokens and the AI, everything is really happening autonomously, and it offers enhanced user control and customization. So the person that is dependent on that ride hailing, that ride to take them where they need to go and when they need to be there, this is so essential when they're able to customize it for their personal travel. Right. So additionally, the platform extends beyond traditional ride sharing. They're offering specialized services like kids cab for families and mail cab for business. And they're going to have drones that are doing delivery as well. So that mail cab is initially it's going to be EV, or it's going to be, a car with somebody driving it. Yes, that's what they're going to do initially. But then eventually their goal is to have a mail delivery service via drone service. So that's a whole nother level, right? And this is all facilitated, P2P, peer-to-peer contracts within the ecosystem. So these guys are really, really, really focused on technology and moving this thing forward in a high-tech way. And I love that, because that's what it's all about. This project introduces two tokens. They have the GFEL, which is the utility token, and the GFELX, and that's your security token, which is for the accredited investors, right? So a couple of things you want to see here. The tokenomics of it is interesting. The only thing that I don't want to get into too much, because like I said, most people are, if you're not doing about 250,000 or more as far as investment, then we're really looking at the GFEL token. Is a utility token. And so you'll be earning tokens when you invest. And I'll show you, you can order different packages and you'll see the packages. But as far as the security token, like I said, if you're investing 250,000 or more, then as you can see here, you're going to have returns annually of about 20% yield. Okay. And the GFELX tokens are limited to 1 million tokens. Okay. So that's something that's important to understand, because, if you invest 250,000 and you get it at 2 cents per token, then you're going to have a lot of tokens, by the way. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that you got to look at as well. And so that's why they don't have a lot for that segment, because they're looking for the average person, because they already have like investors that have come in and really saw the vision on this. So they did invest at the higher levels. So they said they're really looking at people that can spread the word. So if you come in and you purchase, for $1,000 or $5,000, you're going to get bonus tokens. But at the same time, you may not have a lot to invest, but you have a network of people that you can say, hey, look, guys, we don't want to miss out on this. And so the more people that know about it, then the word gets out and people. So when GovL, when they get to your country or if they get to your region, people already know about it. You know why? Because so many people out here have taken the opportunity to invest even at $100. Like you can buy tokens at $100 and get some bonus tokens. But if you do it at $1,000, you're going to get some bonus tokens. If you do it at $5,000, you're going to get a lot of bonus tokens, basically. And so I know people, every time I talk to somebody that's in my inner circle, they're like, hey, look, I want to at least get 1 million tokens, right? And so you start off, you purchase $5,000 worth, and then you get about 300,000 from that. And okay, so before they launch, let me get my other 10,000, and that gives me. So if you invest about $17,000, you can have about 1 million tokens, right? And that right there is taking you to a whole nother level, because when it launches, it's going to launch on the exchange with liquidity at the 6x from what you invested. It's going to launch about 6x right there. Day one, you have 6x your money. That's how powerful this is. And that's why I'm like, please, guys, if you're serious, this is serious, like straight up serious. Where are you going to 6x your money? Anywhere, right? So this is really what's going on right now. All right. So a little bit more here. Integration of charging stations. So they're looking to bring on about 200,000 charging stations, right? They're going to have their own charging point management system, and they're going to establish interoperable charging networks over 2,500 stations and roaming contracts. And so you're going to be able to use your app. You can find out where the charging station is, and you can actually prepay. And so when you get there, you plug in, boom, unplug, you take off, right? So very, very powerful. And so the good thing is, so this is just another revenue stream. So it's not just these guys and their particular fleets. This is charging stations where anybody can use them, right? So that's going to be great as well. They're providing technologically advanced charging service unparalleled in the market, offer a white label solution based on the app and charge point management, allowing customization and branding opportunities. So another revenue stream for other companies that say, wow, that business model works. I want to use that too. And then they can white label it and they can actually have that going outsourced to anybody that needs that service. Charging point management features. So if you have an EV, then that there's some unique things that you may look for, you may want, and GovL is delivering that as well. Okay, so in a nutshell, they're saying users can conveniently charge their vehicles using the mobile app, enhancing the accessibility and ease of electric vehicle charging. So this is the tokenomics that I was kind of talking about to give you an idea. So the comparison is you have 1 million tokens that are being issued for the accredited investors for the security token. Okay, so that's one thing, right? So if you're able to purchase those or not. Then annually, you're looking at about a 20% return or ROY, right? Not ROI, ROY, return on your equity or yield. Okay, so you're yielding about 20% per year, which is phenomenal on your investment. So they got 1 million tokens for the higher level investors. And so what I've been told internally is if you are coming in at 50,000 or more, if you want to invest 50,000 to 100,000 in that range, then they're basically allowing you to choose if you want the 20% a year, or if you want to come in and purchase these at 2 cents per token in the private sale up till the end of October. But the difference is, one, you can purchase more through this particular process. Okay, so that's why some people are opting to do the private sale with the utility token, because you can get way more tokens this way. And so if you can look down here, it says private sale, 250 million. Okay. So they're looking at 1 billion tokens that they're issuing under the utility side. And these are things that's going to go through their launch. You got 3 stages on the launch, which the price increases a little bit. And then they're going to have the actual token generation event, which is going to hit the exchanges. And when it hits the exchanges, then you're going to hit the exchange, and it's going to start out at 12 cents when it hits the exchange. Now, it could be higher, right? Or at 12 cents, depending on the activity and the movement between now and then, right? So if the exchange says, look, we want to go ahead and list you, you have to pay a fee or whatever, they've already kind of got that in place. They got confirmation. And if I can find, I'm going to find the, make sure, because I don't want to say something wrong. But I do have the exchanges that they already have confirmation for. So I want to put that out there and let you see that. So they're launching. I know one is BitGet, the other one is MEXC, right? And so Bybit was the first one, but then after they have an aggregator or agitator, I think it is. So someone that actually helps them in this blockchain space. They have companies that do that in Dubai because they're the blockchain hub of the world. Then they're helping them to figure out, okay, which route to go. So they did go the route of Bybit, which is a leading exchange. Then they came back and said MEXC is interested. And so they basically are going with MEXC first and BitGet, those two, right? And these are centralized exchanges, which is great. And so pretty much worldwide. And eventually they want to obviously get listed with Binance, but they don't want to bear that cost. You know, they're the top exchange out there for crypto. We know that. Everybody looks on Binance, you know, outside the US anyway, for tokens. And so they want to get on there, but they said, hey, we just want to build the networks as wide as we can. And so when you have the most attention to your token because people are talking about it, because people are involved and people are investing in it, that's when they get the attention of these major exchanges. And so that's why they're not looking for somebody to come in and spend $50,000, $60,000 at a time. They're looking at people that can come in at 5, 10, maybe 20,000, but you have a network of people that you've kind of rolled it out, and they have enough people that are talking about it. So you don't have to have a lot of money if you investing. It's just that, they want you to spread the word. And I get that, right? They just want to get that activity, because in this crypto space, when you're launching a token, it's about the activity, the talk, the discussion around it. And that's what motivates those exchanges to bring that token on board. A lot of times, if you've been in this space for a while, you know that when you see these launches happening, and they'll have a voting, they'll say, okay, let's vote. And you'll vote on the exchanges, right? And so they want to get people engaged, and the more engagement, then that's what the exchanges are looking for, right? There's still a fee involved, but the fee is not as much when they know that a lot of people are looking for that token or that coin, right? So definitely didn't want to go too deep on that, but I wanted to make sure you understand this is part of the compensation that you will receive. And so that's why I say it's a straight investment, because the private sale is going on now, 2 cents per token, launching at 12 cents per token. And you can see here on the vesting, 10 months, right? 10% linear. So basically 10% a month will be released after the launch of the project. So let's say you have, 200,000 tokens or something like that. Well, you're going to get 10% released every month for 10 months, right? That's how it's going to be distributed. So they don't have a pump and dump. They just have a continuous flow. So the more that's there, then they release 10%, and people get more interested. They see that it's real. They see that it's happening, and more start buying, and that liquidity continues to rise. Now they don't have to come out of their coffers. They can actually utilize the exchange funds in order to pay out the liquidity for people that want to sell, right? So if I get 10%, how many do I want to sell 10%, or do I want to sell 5%? right? So you have the luxury of doing that. And yes, you can, trade it for a stable coin, and boom, you can go ahead and put that on one of your crypto cards like a TMX Global. Yeah, I'm plugging it, and you can use that anywhere that you use Visa or MasterCard. So yes, easy to convert that back into useful monies. And so as you can see here, if you scroll down, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, the TGE launching at 12 cents. So that'll be something that's coming up, and the liquidity is there, and so on and so forth. So 1 billion tokens for the utility side, GFEL, and there's 1 million tokens for the Gulf GFELX token, which is a security token. All right, cool. So definitely wanted you to get a good understanding of the tokenomics, because that's really where your investment is. Now, if you are one of those people that does bring a large following, you have a network, this is something that's optional, but very welcome, because they really want to get the word out far and wide. Here's the benefit that you may still be a little cloudy on. We're not in the Gulf. We're not riding any taxis. We are not the ones that are benefiting from utilizing the tokens in order to buy the subscription or to get, free taxi rides because we rode 10 times, we get one free, or whatever it is, right? We're not benefiting from that piece of it as a user. But guess what happens when you're right now outside of that region and you're building and help build a network? Okay. So what happens is you're able to spread the word and say, hey guys, here's something that's powerful, and you can invest in it, and you can, make money from it. And by the time that they decide to open up Asia, then they open up South America, then they open up some Europe, and then they open, because the guys they're from Europe actually, so they know that market as well. And then they eventually open up Canada, and then they decide, hey, let's go ahead and open up. They actually have a registration in Texas, so that's something that we're looking at, opening up an office here in the U.S. And eventually, you're building a network. You're telling your people about it. So by the time this all comes around, let's say it takes a couple of years, but you have built and built and built. You're earning, you're building, you're going to earn. So as you can tell, you're actually going to earn 6 levels. You're going to earn 10%, right, on your first level, right? So anybody that purchase a package, you earn 10% on your first level, and then it goes 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 on second through the 6th level. So you're going to continue to earn until your 6th level. So it's not like, hey, these guys are over here in the Gulf, and I don't know why this is important to me. Okay, 2 things. Just like the disruption in real estate and tokenized real estate, if you're able to purchase fractional shares in real estate that's in Bali, Indonesia, and you're in the US, wouldn't that be pretty awesome to earn every day on that? What if you're able to purchase fractional shares or tokens in a disruptive transportation tokenized model in Dubai, in the Gulf, pretty much all those countries, and you're earning without even being there, without even showing up, without even having to go through that normal process. But you're able to earn because you saw this vision on a legitimate business, something that's happening right now, and it's going forward, and it has the business model to win, right? Wouldn't it be cool to invest in something this powerful on the other side of the globe, but that's paying you every time that somebody rides? That is so amazing to me, right? So just in a nutshell, as your network grows, so does your earning potential. I think everybody understands how this works. So if you say, look, I just want to invest, I want to purchase some tokens, and I'm good, that's a beautiful thing. No problem. Nothing else needed to happen. But at the end of the day, you can earn a little more. And then when it does decide to show up on the U.S. beaches and you're actually benefiting from this, then you can take it to that next level and benefit more as a user as well. So that's something that in the future may come around to us, right? So I just want to highlight that there is a whole presentation about the app that is running that whole program, right? And so the Next Ride app, which is obviously powered by blockchain and AI technology, gives you immense rewards as a user. So this is just this is executive summary um, of the actual reason that you should invest in Gulf L. This is the perspective that we are looking at it from. But this is why this is a great investment. This is not financial advice. I'm not telling you that you have to do anything. And I'm not saying that you're going to make any money. You will earn tokens and you can cash those tokens out or put them on one of your crypto cards and use it just as cash. Okay. So just giving you information so that you can make a very educated decision, which I encourage highly. So they're using AI, right? Real-time customer acquisition, instant rewards and benefits, and they're going to use an EV fleet. Eventually, they're going to have a total EV fleet. That's what they're heading for. So I'm going to give you this executive summary, and then we're going to go to the actual website, and I can show you the packages. NextRide is revolutionizing urban mobility by creating a seamless AI-powered and tokenized ride-sharing platform designed for the future of transportation and urban mobility, basically. By leveraging a cutting-edge I know you're like, oh my gosh, here we go, multi-agent system alongside a multi-channel platform powered by advanced AI, machine learning, and large language models, NextRide transforms how users discover, book, and experience rides. So that gives you that's the condensed version of the executive summary, right? So we know that they're using advanced AI with all the parts there, right? MCP, ML, LLMs, all of those parts in order to create the most dynamic app to service their customers. Our unique blockchain-backed tokenized loyalty program rewards users in real time for every ride, referral, and sustainable action, creating an engaging ecosystem where riders become stakeholders. You see what I'm saying? So everybody has a reason to participate in the Gulf L transportation program because they're going to benefit greatly from being a rider, being a driver, investor, all stakeholders, everybody, right? So, like I said, you can go through all of that if you like. So one of the things that it says here that I think really I want to cover is positioned to capture significant market share in the GCC and beyond, right? Next Ride addresses key industry challenges, and all that information is in the white paper, like all the different things. They talk about the challenges, they talk about the problems, they talk about the key areas that they looked at and how they could make all that better. So they've looked at all of that, and that's why they're positioned to capture significant market share in the GCC and beyond, okay? And so they're pioneering an interoperable, privacy-first, and sustainable mobility future with a robust technology stack, dynamic AI-driven marketing, and a vision for decentralized fleet management. NextRide is set to redefine ride-sharing as an experience where every trip pays you back and every user drives the future. So how cool is that? So they're using emerging technologies in the right way to do the right things for the people that they're serving, including the investors. Artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, quantum computing, right? So you're looking at Web3, blockchain, AI, IoT in the transportation, e-hailing, and urban mobility industry. Fascinating stuff, right? So that right there should give you some insight to why this is one of the most dynamic things that I have ever seen. So with that, I want to quickly show you in the back office where you can see all the packages, and that will help you understand a little bit more about it. So I have to go find, let's see, the website. Where did I put the website? Let's go to, yeah, I'm trying to get to the website so you can see that information. Is this the website? Yeah, that's close enough. All right. So if you can see this, I think this, yeah, you can see this, right? So this is the website. So you can go to golfl.com and you can see that they have created something very dynamic. The website is really nice. Do not try to join the pre-sale on the website. That doesn't help at all. You will be out there in limbo. So that's not the way to go. Just use the link that I post in the description or in the comments, the pin post in the comments, and that will get you into the right place so that you can participate in this project. Okay, so I want to take you over here and let's see if I can log in. All right, so hopefully that's get me logged in, and then you can kind of see a little bit more about it. So I need to get you over to the website. So let's go here. Here and here. Okay, there we go. So yeah, I just logged in, and so here's what it's. I want to show you that you can go in and if you hit shop. So these are the packages, right? So you can start at $100, but it gives you a bonus of 200, tokens or tokens, and you can do 500, you can do 1,000, you can do 5,000. We got people in all different areas, so it's really cool. I'm really happy that we do have people that have looked at this. They are interested. The numbers itself, I've never been a person that felt like a lot of people. I just want quality, right? Because I'm already in. I'm gonna do me, right? I believe in it, so I'm gonna do mine. But I'm spreading the word because I see this as one of those key technologies. It's a key company that really opened the door to something that is going to be so explosive, right? And so that's what makes it exciting at this particular time. There's been so many things, and it just it looked good, or they danced around, they did a lot of stuff. This one is they're very just good people. I've had, like I said, I've had conversations with the CEO, the COO, and the CEO I later talked to last week, and he's like, hey, what can we do? Like do we can we come to the US? Do we need to come to the US? Host a meeting with your top leaders. And I said, well, let me round up a few people. Let's see if we can get real leaders that are really interested in serious investment, and we'll go from there. But they're willing to do that, right? They're traveling through Asia right now. They've been invited to different locations. They're going to do that because after the Gulf, then they're going to open up Asia. They're going to Vietnam. They're going to Thailand. They're going to the Philippines. So, I've been pretty much to all those locations. So I know that they're going to have great results in those locations. My sponsor actually is from Thailand. And so I know, these areas they could benefit a lot from this particular service. So we do have, like I said, $100 up to a 10,000, all the way to a 25,000. And so me and a partner was looking at it, and he was like, okay, how do we get 1,000,000 tokens? And I said, well, without the actual bonus, then obviously 10,000 would get you 1,000,000 tokens, right? So that's a 20,000. But we have 150,000 as a bonus, so that gives you 650,000. So all you need is another 400, and that gives you a little bit over 1,000,000 tokens right there. So that's where the 17,000 comes in. If you want 1,000,000 tokens, $17,000, that gives you 1,000,000 tokens. And let me show you something that is interesting. You may in your mind be saying, okay, why would I want 1,000,000 tokens? So right here, you saw me earlier show you on the tokenomics that you're purchasing them at 2 cents per token. This is in the private sale. When it goes to launch, the exchanges are already in place. They're launching this at 12 cents. So you're looking at a 6x gain from day one. So how would you like to put $100 and get a $600 check within the next 3 or 4 months by doing nothing different? Just your investment, your return. Powerful, right? And so what they're showing us here is at listing, this is valued at 288,000. So that's let me show you what that is. right? So 288,000 is here, right? Total 288,000 is the $5,000, the premium package. So that right there, $5,000. So if we're talking 6x, then what does 6x show you? Okay, let's go back over here. So 5,000, 6x is 34,000, right? So this is where a $5,000 investment is already valued at $35,000. If I do nothing else and I wait until that particular launch happens, that first 28,800 tokens will be available. That's the 10%. I said 10% per month is going to be available, right? So I can sit there and try to take that out at the 12 cent. Or what if we continue building this program? It keeps expanding, more countries get involved, higher levels of networkers get involved, and they spread the word. And now it goes from 12 cent to 20 cent to 25 cent to 50 cent, and it gets to $1. $1 over the next year. If it gets to $1 and I do nothing else, that's a $288,000 benefit. Think about that. When you're looking at the packages, what would you like to see happen over the next year? This is an investment. This is not put money in and get it, get a return. If you are building your teams, you're gonna make a percentage off of that, 10% on the first level and all the way down to 6 levels, right? So you will make money along the way, absolutely. But if you're looking at it for a sustainable, a strategic, a serious business, advanced technology, and a use case that's absolutely on point, this is the way to go, right? So that's really all I want to deliver to you. Like I said, there's you got your downlines, you got your shop. I don't want to put anybody names out there and stuff like that. There's ranks in there, so you can see the enthusiast, explorer, visionary. So there's some benefits in building. So they didn't want to make it about all that. So it's not it's not for that specifically. So they're not focused on all these benefits for networking, but they want to reward the people that do spread the word, that do believe in the program, and so they are definitely looking at making sure that people benefit from that, right? So I want you to benefit as well. All right. So with that being said, we know that there's always great projects that come out. There's always great people that are being introduced to these programs, and then you hear about it somewhere, somehow. All I ask is you take the time, review this information, and you have questions, get in touch with me. Let's address those questions. Let's get that information out to you so that you can make the best decision based upon the best information that is offered to you, right? So I'm prepared. I'm ready. I want to set up a Zoom in the next few days with key people. So if you're one of those key people that's looking to invest in something powerful, that you don't have to worry about networking and doing all of those things, and you don't have to worry about a whole lot of rigmarole, it's just a great investment in a great project that has the best business case, business model that I've seen in a long time, disrupting an industry that hasn't been tokenized until now. This is powerful. This is going to the next level. And this is not financial or investment advice. This is just my energy for a great business model that I believe needed this particular lift, and it is happening at the right time. So launching in about a month now. Yeah, about a month. So you have a little time for the private sale. It's time to make it happen. Time to get busy and make a decision. Look, if you have not did one thing for me, go ahead and do it. Definitely hit the like, hit the share, tell somebody about it, spread the word. And, if you want to be notified for everything that I'm doing, then you can definitely hit the notification bell. And yes, look down in the description, look down, somewhere maybe in the comments. I should post information so that you can actually get inside and become part of change. We're moving forward, and we're doing it with or without people that don't want to be involved. Um, so let's make it happen. It's good stuff. I really appreciate your time, and I look forward to doing it again. All right, peace. Get in touch with me.